Hi everyone, this is Shayna O'Connor from TrueBloodFanSource.com, and I'm here to talk about this past Sunday's episode, Someone That I Used to Know, and it was directed by Stephen Moyer, which is a first for the series. I know a lot of you probably know that because it's been talked about a lot in the news ever since it came out that Stephen was going to direct an episode, and I think that he did a wonderful job. He really did. It seemed like he really listened to the actors, and he really took in the whole picture. And I actually preferred this episode over the last episode, which was the one where the vampires went out into New Orleans and fed on people. I thought this was a great episode, and I'm glad as this started, the episode opened. It first opened with Luna and Sam, but I'll get to them in a second. With the vampires, I liked the fact that Eric is the one that realizes, how something isn't right with this whole Lilith thing and the whole thing. I like that because, it's sort of ironic. You would think that him being one of the older vampires in the group, if not the oldest, I don't know if I don't think he's quite as old as Salome, but, he's up there. I think for him to kind of look and say, this is crazy, especially after, watching Godric die in season 2, and he didn't quite understand it. But I really like the fact that now, 3 seasons later, he's come back and he's sort of realizing what Godric said was not that far off base. And I think the fact that, the whole guy who eats kids was ridiculous, but I like the fact that now they have Steve and Russell together, because I think those actors will do really well together and play off each other quite well. But yeah, I like this whole vampire dynamic just between Bill and Eric, and the two opposite ends of the spectrum they find themselves at, especially, since up until this point, Bill has really been the humanitarian of between Bill and Eric. He really has, and now to kind of see this sort of shift, it's interesting. And I appreciated seeing Bill seeing his daughter again when she was an adult. I thought that was an appropriate flashback to have, with him about to feed on a human, because, I think that's part of his humanity, is that he doesn't want to kill humans because he remembers what it's like being a human, but then, having that thought about his daughter and how he didn't turn her and how she's begging him to turn her because she's dying, it's heartbreaking. And Eric experiences a similar type of heartbreak with Nora when he realizes that she's not in the same sort of arena when it comes to, Godric, and how, she's talking about how he was weak and, he had become a shell of his former self, basically. And to see that, because Eric loved Godric so much, and it's such a testament to the kind of person Eric is. He can be an asshole and he can be horrible, but the one thing that you can say about him is that when he cares about somebody, he cares, and he accepts them for who they are. He did that for Pam, and he did it for Godric, even though it was hard for him to accept that he was saying all these things. He still loved him anyway. And so it's heartbreaking, and I kind of hate the writers for making this divide between Nora and Eric, because I was really excited to see him get a sister, especially after, this time where they didn't really realize, the power, so to speak, of the maker-child relationship. So I'm hoping that Nora doesn't die or anything like that. This season, I hope that she'll continue to live on, because I'm not really liking where they're taking her. But I didn't like when Pam first turned Tara, and that whole idea, when I first figured it out, didn't really appeal to me, but I've really ended up liking it. So I hope that stays, that relationship stays, because I think it'll be a really interesting dynamic to play out if they all survive. The other thing I was going to get back to is Sam and Luna. Luna becomes Sam, which I thought was a pretty genius move, and I liked it a lot because, it really showcases Sam Trammell in a very tremendous way. 'Cause trying to play somebody else is hard, but to try to play someone else of the opposite sex is even harder. So for him to have done that and to do it so fantastically and so believably, it's sort of fun. You kind of laugh at points, but at others, Sam Trammell almost makes you want to cry, because he takes it so seriously, and the stakes are so high that it was really a pleasure to watch. It's kind of like the way Lafayette had to take on the personality of Mavis the Ghost last year. I mean, it's that kind of dedication that I love to watch, and that performance, because it takes a lot out of an actor. So I thought that was great. I'm really glad that they did that, because it really gave Sam and Luna something else to do other than, sit in the hospital room. Sookie, I'm really liking the whole Sookie and Jason thing. I have wanted to see them do a few scenes together for a long time. They didn't have that many last year, and for them to really kind of be together, searching for their parents' killer and kind of getting involved with the fairies, I like that, because it's not too much. They haven't, the writers haven't gone too overboard, and I like that. I think that they might have learned from the fairy stuff last year, last year, and keeping it very subtle. I like the fact that, there's this whole energy, and she's sort of like learning about that, and it's not all about, Bill and Eric or Alcide all the time. It's a great thing, and I'm really interested to see how that sort of plays out. Although I was a little bit disappointed to see that the vampire was somebody that we didn't know. I would have liked, we might meet them a little bit later, but I kind of wanted it to be someone that we've met, or someone who has like a really significant connection. It's not just a random vampire, but I guess we'll have to check and see how that works. So the next thing I want to talk about is, Jessica and Hoyt. Jessica gets captured by the hate group, and Hoyt has to let her go. And I knew that nothing was going to happen to Jessica, because, Deborah Ann Woll is a series regular and all. But, that was a really kind of heartbreaking scene, because there are another pair of people that are at exact opposites of the spectrum, and they were once together, but now they've drifted apart, and it's really heartbreaking, because now you really realize that they can't go back. And it's even more heartbreaking because Jessica, has been trying to do it with Jason, and Jason shot her in the head. you know, I mean, the poor girl just can't catch a break. Pam and Tara, I thought that was a great scene because Pam can be all badass and bitchy and unemotional, but she really does care, and that is illustrated by the fact that she sees that this woman is like a really big piece of work in her behavior towards Tara, and I like the fact that she got her this human and was like, this person's gonna be you're Tara's slave, and you do whatever she says. I thought that was really sweet of Pam in a not like really fuzzy way, but it's nice to see them sort of get along, and I think being a maker suits Pam very much. Um, you know, it's not going to be the way that you would typically imagine a maker progeny relationship to go, but I think they really are doing a great job with that. Salome, just touch briefly on her. I think the vampires need to be very careful of her because she's obviously, a huge troublemaker. She's really the one to watch out for, because she's going to cause a lot of problems for Eric, and I think Eric knows that. So she's going to really pose a real issue. She's kind of like the enemy of the season, so to speak, even though it's Sanguinista versus mainstreamers. So yeah, I'm kind of like worried. I'd be very afraid of her. Yeah, it's it's not good. Let's see what else. Oh, I like that, Andy is kind of sort of just accepted that Sam's a shapeshifter at this point. Like, he really didn't blink. But after his encounter, I guess he wouldn't with the fairy last year. And since he's been in the club, I don't think he would begrudge him. But it's just interesting, how he lets Sam sort of take over. I thought he accepted the whole Sam and then Luna as Sam very, very well, which was kind of surprising. Speaking of other humans, I'm glad that, Arlene and Holly went to Lafayette and asked him to help. And that this is sort of getting the storyline with the Ifrit or Ifrit or whatever is getting somewhere. Because I liked how it was coming together at the beginning of the season, but now I think that I'm content to see this move on. And of course we know that Scott Foley's character is gonna die. The actor, by the way, is on a new show called Goodwin Games. That's on for next fall, so I know that he's going to be off of True Blood most likely because he can't film both, because True Blood will go back into production for season 6 in November, December, so he can't possibly film both. Sorry, you guys are Patrick fans. But yeah, I like that, and I liked Lafayette seeing Jesus. I thought that was really well done, and it said in HBO Go as I was watching the episode again that they didn't even intend for Jesus to come back. It was really just a way to get Lafayette out of the bloody lips, because it apparently takes a long time for them to go on. But I like that. It kind of felt like they had some sort of closure, and I liked the fact that Kevin Alejandro may pop in here and there, because I always liked Jesus and Lafayette. But yeah, the big overarching thing is, what's going to happen with Bill. I mean, obviously Bill is going to go towards the dark side. I posted some spoilers when I was down at Comic-Con that said, Bill's going to turn towards religion and Eric is going to have to save him. I don't know how I feel about that, but if the episodes keep going like they are, I think I'll be okay with it. Oh, and Alcide, I like the fact that Alcide, we saw him have real morals and say no to JD's challenge about chasing down the human, and how he says, I'm not doing it even though it means forfeiting being Packmaster. And I like that he's got a little love interest in Ricky, who's played by Kelly Overton. That's a nice side storyline. I also like that Martha, by the way, seems to be a pretty good gal, even though, she did some questionable things like eating her son and being kind of mean at the beginning. But I like that they've sort of figured her in, and she's sort of a central character. So I'm going to wrap this up, but before I go, I just want to let all of you know that I'm running a series of auctions right now that's going to benefit Kristen Bauer's Kickstarter campaign, Out for Africa. I brought back with me some swag and stuff from Comic-Con, and I also added, a few True Blood related items that I've had around the house, as well as some handbags from my personal collection. And I have said this in the post on my site and on in the auction listings. I don't expect to make a lot of money. Like, if everything gets a bid, it'll probably make about $300. But I really wanted to contribute to Kristen's campaign a little bit more, because I've had to cover her a lot for Kristen Bauer Online, which I'm no longer going to do for the foreseeable future, because I don't think I'm cut out to be a person who works on an actor-only site. I'm a news person, and Kristen has a lot of news. So it's a little bit, and a lot of it repeats. So I want to do this and have it make a difference, because I really care about this issue. And I know it's really important to Kristen and to her husband's family, and it's just a really good cause. So I'm going to put a link to this auction thing in the description, so I hope you'll click on it and see what I have available, and hopefully we can sell everything. So thank you for watching, and I will be back next week. And until then, you can check out all our news on TrueBloodFansource.com. Bye!